Hey guys, Nekrage here again. This time doing the Necromancy tree from Archeage. It's also known as Mysticism, and in the English EU version of the game is going to be known as Occultism. Odd name, but sure, whatever, Occultism. Okay, so, into this duel real quick. The first ability we have in the tree is Energy Arrow. It is the main used ability in the Necromancy tree. It fires these 4 little arrows and it reduces the enemy's movement speed and damage for each stack. After 20 stacks they become exhausted. When they have the exhausted state, it could be used to trigger some awesome combos. I'll show you. So, Energy Arrow. That's one use of it, but you can spam it. As you notice the debuff on her built up to an exhaustion state, and that can be used to combo other abilities. And as you can see, she's a lot slower than she is without the exhaustion state on her. I'll show you one last time. She gets a little bit slower, a little bit less damage than exhausted, and that's a lot of reduced damage and slow. Okay, second ability we got is called Mana Absorption. When you use it, it'll do some damage and give you back mana based on the amount of damage it does. That means with better gear and with a crit, you get back more mana. So, that's good. As you progress, you get back more mana from this ability. It also does a pushback, as you can see. It can be used to throw enemies off ships, off high cliffs, and all that, and it's very fun. Very useful in PvP. Third ability we got is Hell Spears. It is pretty much the backbone of this tree when you try to set up some combos and do some nice AoE damage. So, Hell Spears does damage and stuns an enemy. Can't move. Can't do anything. No casting, no moving, nothing. And that also works to combo as well, having that speared debuff. They have 2 different stuns in this game, 2 different debuffs. A normal stun and a impale. The reason they have 2 is because one stun, the normal stun, will combo in one way, and the impale will combo with different abilities. But they are exactly the same status effect. So, okay. On to the fourth ability, Life Absorption. This is your typical life drain that warlocks, or I don't know, warlocks from WoW would have and stuff. As you can see, I've taken some damage. I'm going to use some life drain right now, and it's going to drain some life from my target and do some damage. Now, the damage of that may seem a little low. It kind of is. It's not really for a damaging ability, but you can increase the damage if the target is stunned. Unfortunately, this tree doesn't have that stun on its own. You have to have another tree to do it. But it does have the second one that lets you get 50% more health back from Life Drain. The exhaustion state from Energy Arrow here will actually trigger the combo, as you can see it lit up, of Life Absorption. And now you'll see it says combo, and you'd get back extra health from it. On to our next ability, Ravens. Ravens works with the third ability, Hell Spears, so I'll do that first. There's a nice combo for it. It does an AoE around you, the Ravens, a small range, 5 meters, so you gotta make sure they're close. It does damage, and it reduces their physical accuracy, so it's really good against melee. So I'm gonna use Hell Spears, and then Ravens to combo it. Combo adds and also adds a poison effect to the dot, in addition to the Ravens damage already. So it does some nasty damage when you do some Hell Spears and Ravens at the same time. It's a good initiation. Next ability is Hold Death. Or Grip of Death, but other translation is Hold Death. It'll slow the enemy's movement while you channel it, but the main effect is the damage. It does some major damage, and you can get a nice stun if you use it while the person is exhausted. So, use this to add the exhaustion dot, and then Grip of Death. And it'll do some nasty damage and slow the enemy down, stun them, and yeah, very good. Next ability is awesome for PvP. Say you got, I don't know, 3 of you against 2 enemies. You can turn it into a 2v1 fight, easy. The reason I say 2v1 and not 3v1 is because you're also locked out of combat, technically. You can telekinesis a person, like this, and you can actually control them where you want them to go. Up, down, left, right, and you're out of combat, they're out of combat, you can't really do anything to each other. But if it's, I don't know, 2 of you against 1 of them, you could pick up the enemy and your teammate can wail on them all day until that telekinesis ends. They can't do anything. So your teammates just throwing spells at him, shooting arrows, and whatever the heck they're doing, and they can't do anything about it. There are some abilities that can break out of it, but you have to have the assault tree to do that. Next ability is Reflect Damage. Reflects 50% of physical damage for 10 seconds. So I'm going to put that up right now, and when she hits me, you'll see she takes a small amount of damage. It reflects. Against melee, it's not bad. It does some decent damage. In PvE, when you pull a lot of enemies and stuff, you can do some nasty damage. Just having a bunch of enemies wail on you and then pop that up. Next ability we have is a Silence. If I can get back in this duel, 1 second. There we go. Next one we have is an AoE Silence. This works very, very well with a pull-in from the Will Tree, then the Spears in this tree, then Ravens, and then you silence the enemies around you. So as she's trying to cast, you'll see I'm going to silence it. Next cast I'm going to do it. Go ahead, cast something. And I'm going to silence it. There you go. Now she can't cast, and it cancels out her spell cast. Very good. Curse of Death is a buff. It lasts for a minute and a half, no cooldown, but it's a 5-second cast time, so it's a little annoying to keep up. But when you put it on, it reduces the cooldown of all the abilities in this tree alone, not all trees, by 9 seconds. So instead of an 18-second cooldown, well, there's going to be an 18-second cooldown instead of the original cooldown. The Ravens are now 21-second. This is no longer a minute cooldown, it's now a 51-second cooldown, 9-second reduction. So it's not bad. It can help if it's your main tree for damage, like all your damage is coming from this tree. It's not bad to have. The last ability in it is, it's great. It's strong, does some nice damage. It'll slow enemies, slow their cast speed, slow their attack speed, and do some nasty damage. So check it out. So picture the Will Tree pulling enemies in, then using Spears, Ravens, Silence, and then using this AoE against a bunch of enemies. Now you're channeling it, and they're taking some massive damage, while your teammates are, as you can see, her spellcast is very, 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 very slow. So it is nasty if used properly. You can really set up a nice combo. Okay, on to the passives. The first passive just increases your mana regen. It's nice though, it's noticeable. Next passive requires you to get critically hit first. So let's see if I can get crit by something. When you get critically hit, it increases your chance to crit a lot. But I doubt it's going to happen. Anyway, you'll notice it when it does proc. Okay, you'll just start throwing out some massive crits. Next ability is next passive is it reduces your health regen. Reduces your health regen by 30 points per second. But your mana regen is increased a lot. So I don't need another duel. Well, I actually do. I want to show off this passive real quick. So it reduces your health regen, increases your mana regen. It's nice in PvE because you can life drain a lot of your health back. You don't really need the health regen itself. So usually low on mana rather than health. So that's usually the thing you're waiting on. But this will help you stay afloat and not reduce the not increase your wait time to recover. Fourth ability requires you not to move, but every time you are hit, you gain 6% of your magical damage increases up to 5 times. So as you can see, I got hit. I got hit again. 2 stacks, 3 stacks, 4. And now I got a 30% magical damage increase. The second I take a step, though, it's gone. So it's not necessarily great in PvP because you do a lot of moving, a lot of chasing, a lot of running, and it's not the best thing. It's alright, but whatever. The last passive increases your critical spell damage by 50%. It works great with the second passive in the tree. Increases your critical strike chance by 56%. When that procs, you crit almost everything. You would have at least a 60% chance to crit, at least. And with Infinite, you're doing a lot more critical spell damage. You start hitting like a freaking truck. And it's great if you're low on health, like the enemy thinks, oh yeah, I got him. They crit you, you're at low health, you got this procced, you start life draining them, and all your life drain chicks are critting. They do it. Oh, it procced right now. So your life drain crits. So there you go. You start the crit. You get back a lot of health. So it's like a nice surprise when you're in PvP and they think they got you. But that's the end of one of my favorite trees, the Mysticism Necro tree, whatever you want to call it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe or apply to our guild for the US release of Archeage. We are the Oran'Thul. Our website will be linked in annotations in the description. Thanks for watching.